Good afternoon. I would like to welcome everyone to our September 2022 meeting. In absence of our chairman, who's not here tonight, I will be conducting the meeting for us, and we will go according to the agenda. At this time, we will have our prayer and our pledge of allegiance by Ms. Autumn Crook, please.
Everyone, please bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this wonderful day that you've given us. Thank you for this board that does everything they can to make the right decisions for our school and to keep us safe. Please keep us safe. Please give us travel mercies as we go home after the board meeting. In your precious and holy name, we pray. Amen. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ms. Autumn.
You're welcome. Thank you, Ms. Autumn. At this time, we will have our consent items, which consists of the agenda, the minutes from the August 9th and the August 30th meeting. We have fundraisers for the art, fundraisers from FCCLA, fundraisers from HOSA, fundraisers from the middle school, fundraisers from the musical theater, fundraisers from the principal's fund, and fundraisers from tennis, an overnight field trip for the junior beta to Williamsburg on May the 16th through the 19th of 2023, rental of the facility of Pop Warner, rental of the facility for the Washington Dance Academy. I need a motion for these consent items, please.
Make a motion.
Okay, motion by Mr. Madison, second. Second by Mr. Reese. Any discussion?
The principal's fundraiser. Can we pull it up? Ask you a couple of questions about that part of it?
Sure.
You're talking about the parking spot painting?
Yes.
All right. I will ask or conceal to the expert here.
Okay, that's Dr. Wolski.
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
They would pay to paint their parking spot, and then at the end of the summer, when we redo the lines, we would power wash it off.
Okay.
I mean, with an approved, they have to get the approved, have to submit their design, it would be approved, and adults would be there with them when they did it. It wouldn't just be a free-for-all.
Okay, so, what did the maintenance director say about that? I mean, this is new to me, so I don't have a clue.
I didn't ask him.
Okay. All right. So it says that you're going to use an approved paint, and the cost will be $40.
For them to paint their spot, yes, sir.
And do they provide the paint?
No, we would get some of the paint for like the base, and if they wanted to do anything special outside of the base color, then they would be responsible for that.
Okay. So this is like a minimum dollar fundraiser, I guess.
Yeah, it is. It's just something for the kids to be able to do, have fun with.
Okay.
So the way I heard you explain, the paint's good enough to stay all year long?
Yeah,
Parking on it.
I've done it in a couple of places I've been at, and it'll last all year to the summer. It'll start fading out right about the summer, and then pressure wash it and it comes right off.
How long were you at tenure at that place? I mean, did it like pressure washing? It didn't mess the parking lot up or whatever? Okay. So I know from time to time we use traffic marking paint on projects on asphalt, and it's like $40 is how much it costs per gallon, and it covers like 90 square feet, and that's roughly half of a parking spot. So I'm trying to figure out how it's going to work out where you could break even, and then you know, I just want to know a little bit more about it. It's kind of something new to me, like I said. I do like the freedom of expression, and it gives the students a piece of ownership in the school, you know, it's something that they like. Is it seniors only, or?
No, anybody that gets a spot, I mean, that pays for they have to pay for their parking spot first, which most of them have already paid. We've almost got the horseshoe filled up, which we fill up first. And then they can pay to do their spot. And it is a minimal fundraiser, just because we would cover some of that base paint for them to put down. It's obviously, I put the financial goal of $500, but that would be, I probably would be pushing it to make $500.
Right. Do you have any pictures, or like another school? Do y'all know another school that does it? Yeah.
I've seen it done.
I've seen it popular in other schools.
It is? Okay.
Some of the athletes are, just put their number on there,
Okay.
you know, like number 4, number 20, whatever it is.
And then you get
I've
some
seen
of the people who do Starry Night and all kinds of stuff on there.
Okay. I can see it, it's cool in one way, but the other way, I'm looking at it from the maintenance standpoint, because that's my background, and I'm worried about it damaging the asphalt and all this kind of stuff. So I'm just trying to weigh it out in my mind, just get a good grasp of what you're doing, so what you're asking for. So
Any more questions?
I'm not crazy about marking anything up on our school. I mean, we got a $32 million school down here, and I don't really want anything written on the outside of it. I mean, that's just my opinion.
is it, one more thing, is there any way you can get us a picture or two of a school somewhere, or tell us where there's one close by? I go look at it, I'm just curious to look at it, see how it looks.
I'd have to Google it.
Okay. I ain't gotta do it now, I just,
This is just something that we talked about at leadership this summer, about possibly being able to do, and it was brought up at basically our front office meeting the other day. I'm sure why not.
okay,
There you go.
thank you.
Any other item that you had discussion on?
Should we pull it until we can get some more? Would that make you feel better? That would give us more that we could look at it, or go look at it if it's
How
closed.
do y'all feel about it? I'd like to see it, but I do like the idea that kids have
Pull this
ownership.
one item.
You can pull any item you want
Till next
to.
meeting?
You can pull any item you want to.
Which we're gonna have a call meeting on the 21st.
And look at it? Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
So how do we need to do that then, since we already have a motion?
But you would
Strike.
have to amend the motion to pull this item off and preserve it till the 21st or the next meeting, however you want to do it. So you would vote on everything except this one if that's what you would decide.
I'll make a motion that we pull into more detail to the meeting on the 21st on this one item with the school parking lot painting.
Second. If we need a second, or you just,
He's making a separate motion or amending the motion, so we would vote on his amendment.
Well, I would just like to say, I like the idea of the students being able to express themselves with the parking lot, so. But I'm in agreement, since we have discussion, and we're all not here, make a motion that we, pull this fundraiser for the principal's fund, until our next meeting on the 21st, our call meeting, that we can vote on it then.
and we'll,
All of,
and we'll have some pictures, a couple pictures or somewhere to go, right?
okay. So I need a motion that we accept all the consent items, except the fundraiser for the principal fund that we're pulling until our next meeting to vote on. I need a motion.
I'll make a motion on that.
Okay, motion by
I got
Mr. Madison.
one other
Discussion?
discussion.
Okay.
Rental of the facility for Pop Warner.
Yes, sir.
It says dates of rental the 10th, and then of September, and then the 18th of October.
That's correct.
I just wanted to clarify with whomever that the athletic director is approving this since isn't he the one that's in charge of whether people play?
He did approve it, yes, sir.
Okay.
He sure
so-
did.
Okay, I just didn't see it anywhere and I probably just missed it somewhere.
He did approve it.
So he
was-
did approve it.
He was directly involved. Before Dr. Walski signed it, he was directly involved.
Okay, I mean, I know he plays a major
Big part
part
in
in
it,
it,
yes,
right? He actually.
Yep.
Okay,
Him and I were both in the meeting, sitting side by side.
okay.
Are there any more questions or discussion? No? All right, can you make another motion?
I make a motion. Yeah, we accept it with the amendment.
Second.
Second by Mr. Heitman, all in favor? 4-0. Okay, thank you. We didn't have any public participation, so we're gonna move on to our financials. Ms. Dukes, please.
Okay, this is our financials, this is the general fund. We are ending in August of 31st, 2022, so we are 16.66% of the fiscal year complete. If you go down to the bottom, so we have a total of 11.66% for revenues. This is in line with where we should be at this time. As you can see, the local ad valorem taxes are low, but that is normal because it's July and August. We get our most funding in December. We have our local intangible recording tax and real estate transfer tax at 8.75%, also in line at this time. We have the FLPA grant, which we're expecting to receive most likely in the spring, so you'll see 0% there for a while. The TAVT title ad valorem tax, we increased that budget from last year. Last year we had $300,000, we increased it to $500,000, and we look to be pretty much in line because we're at 19.76%. Other local, we're at 20%. This is oh my goodness, this is mainly due to tuition, which we do not budget for. But we also have $30,000 in, which is for Head Start, that we increased our budget. We're usually at 24 for our local other, but we're at 54 for our budget this year. So we'll do that on a reimbursement basis. I expect to send them a check, an invoice in the end of September to do like a quarterly basis. But as far as rent goes, they're paying monthly, $600. So that's that. State QBE, we're right where we need to be, 16.67%, right in line with where we are in August. State grants, you'll see we're very low at this time, but that is because we did budget for 2 buses at $200,000. So depending on when we get those, and we can request that, but it is over a 3-year period, so we do have time, but we do have 2 buses in budget, $200,000. Medicaid income and other grants, we're at 4.93%. That's in line with previous years. We do not budget for impact aid, and we have not received impact aid yet, giving us, as you see, 11.66% to date. Any questions? Moving on to the expenditures. Once again, 16.66% of fiscal year complete. In comparison with last year, everything looked pretty much in line. As you can see, we have some that are over 16, some that are under, but instruction looks in line with the encumbrances as well as the percentage. Other items that are higher than 16% is general admin. This is one-time software purchases and other licenses that we do at the beginning of the year, so in line with in previous years. And at the bottom, we were at 15.54% out of the 16.66, and last year we were at 15.59%. So we're looking in line. Okay, moving on to our fund balance sheet. We have numbers because June is closed. So we have cash and investments of 2.575. Last year at this time, we had cash of 2.813. So just 200,000 off, but that was expected because we did have we expected this. Interest receivable, 712. Taxes receivable, 156. Accounts receivable, 925. And that looks reasonable to last year as well. leaving us with the total assets of 3.658. Liabilities, we have accounts payable at 358,000, salaries and benefits payable of 1.383, and withholdings payable of 245,000. Once again, in line, and we have a fund equity currently of 1.67 million. Last year at this time, it was 1.88. Moving on to our fund equity. As you can see, July 1st, 2022, which means that we ended fiscal year 22 at 2.26 million. If y'all remember with our budget, we estimated a $2 million end of the year. So we actually did better because we were able to get our ESSER funded. So we are at 2.26 at the end of the year, starting this one. And then we have our revenues that we just saw and our expenditures, leaving us with that 1.67 fund balance. Okay, moving on to the SPLOST proceeds. As you can see, we have started a 2022 to 2027 SPLOST collection proceeds. This is August for the July collections, and we received $96,091.33. Once again, the highest we've ever received. Last year at this time, we received $72,261, so 24,000 higher. Okay, now on to our SWA summary. Once again, it's the 2022-2027 format. We have an ending balance in our SPLOST of $565,000 and an ending balance in our bond of $602,730.57, leaving us with 1.167, which will leave us, which we are going to be able to pay off $367,000 on September 30th, which is due October 1st. Leading us to, for our April 1st collection, we're already 68% on our way to pay that off. Next up is capital projects as of August 31st, 2022. So our projected amount for the concession stand was $25,190. What we spent last year was $13,907, and what we've currently spent as of the date of this report is $2,452. I did see some invoices come across my desk this morning, so you will see that next month. But leaving us with a remaining balance of $8,834 at that concession stand. But we do have 105 available for other projects and also to fund the concession stand, whichever goes over that projected amount. Now we're moving on to the financial status reports. This general fund is basically just a reiteration of what we've already gone through. As you can see, it shows the monthly as well as outstanding purchase orders. I looked at last year, and instruction outstanding purchase orders were about the same at this time, just, you know, teachers wanting to get things in for the school year. And maintenance and operation also had around $25,000 at this time as well. Moving on to special revenue funds, you can see that revenue collected is only at 1.44%. This is mainly due to not drawing down funds yet. We still have some carryover from fiscal year 22, and we'll start drawing down funds in September. So next month, you should see an increase in our revenues to kind of get a little bit more in line with what we are expending, since most of it is salaries. So I will draw down requests for that. Okay, capital projects, what we just saw, $2,452,000 to date in this fiscal year. And then the debt service fund, we've only spent $3,500, but next month you will see that payment go out. Any questions on the financials?
Are you gonna go over the quarterly report?
I am.
Okay. I have a
Very
few
good.
questions on those.
Oh, okay. Well, good, the principals are here.
I'm full of questions tonight, I don't know why.
Okay. First up, we have the elementary school. So their beginning balance as of March 30th, so April 1st, was 41,000, and they ended with 33,352. Any questions?
Remind me what contributions is, please,
That'll be donations,
donations.
or like people giving money towards something.
Can you give me like one example? I mean,
Well, the one example that I know is like the lunch donation from church. Like that's where that would go.
oh, okay, okay. All right. And office.
It's my money.
Okay. Where do you get that money from? I guess that's
The
what.
sky.
The sky. All right. Where'd it come from?
We have some budgeted money. This is Patty's stuff, so I don't.
Okay.
Taylor can maybe answer
Okay. Well, I
Let's see
just,
what Taylor can do.
what Taylor can do.
you can dive into it later. I was just curious. I just looked through here and I had a few questions. So,
That's our fundraiser money.
that's your
That's our
fund?
fundraiser money.
Okay. All right. Okay. That was all.
Okay. And just in reference, they are up $5,000 from last year, for anyone who cares. Okay.
Repeat that,
What?
repeat that.
Last year, they were at 27,000 at this year, and they're at 33,000, so elementary school went up. Middle school, they, at April 1st, 2022, had 62,353,000, and a remaining balance at the end of the year of 47,550. Any question?
Yes. All right, so this M cheerleaders, so they got $5,802 in that account? That's middle school cheerleaders? Okay. And then soccer, they have $608,
They do.
and then sports has $14.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And over the years, those have meant different things. I mean, that's just what, she has, over the years, we've just,
Okay. And
that
I'm-
$608 was probably raised fundraiser.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna jump to the back one real quick and then you can go back. So on the athletic, the Lincoln County High School Athletic Summary, you have like, somebody has middle school boys basketball, middle school girls basketball with zero balance.
Yes, sir. We do not get money from athletics.
Okay.
I mean, we can get into that, but we can do it Wednesday.
Okay.
Whatever you'd like to.
No, I'm just, well, I'm kind of figuring out,
Yes,
trying to
sir.
understand what's going on because it doesn't look exactly right. So
Yes.
anyway, I was wondering why I was on the high school. So,
Oh, I can't answer that.
okay,
Why that is if that's on yours, why that is there.
Well, it's there because each coach, they run a program, not just high school varsity and JV or a B team. Everything's covered under whatever they get out of the athletic budget for their entire program, which is high school, or varsity, JV, and middle school.
I think the question comes in though, like you got middle school cheerleaders under the budget for the school.
Middle
And
school.
You got some middle school stuff under the athletic, why is everything athletic not under the athletic budget? Does that kind of make, some of it's under, looks like your general to me, I'm just asking the question.
This, if you need me to answer. Okay.
Yeah,
This, what is under my general fund
okay,
is not board money.
Okay.
None of that is board money. All of that is raised from fundraisers
Okay.
or, game receipts, or not for me, but for high school. But all of that is from, what we've raised or what children concession, yes, my general fund would be concession, my concession money when we do concessions,
Okay.
that kind of thing.
Okay.
Or we do a fundraiser for the school or anything like that, but none of that is board money
Okay.
for, under that, if that helps.
So any line item would be something that they did outside of the box as a fundraiser to get that money?
Correct.
Okay,
Or
gotcha. Makes more
that,
sense.
yes, that is correct.
Makes a little more sense, thank you.
Because when you start talking about the gate receipts, all the gate receipts go to general athletics, and that's where the money gets dispersed out into middle school, high school.
And so, back to, why is the, I can't understand exactly why the middle school is on the high school.
I don't know, that's a Taylor question.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say it's just the naming convention, it's the high school keeps, we just have it as athletics. I mean, we could
I just
name
curious.
it just athletics. I mean, to be honest, I think it's just a naming issue more so than
Okay.
anything. 'Cause
Okay,
athletics has a middle school and high school events.
okay. We
And
probably-
middle school cheerleaders are independent. They're not under, like, every other sport, like football, he runs football. High school cheerleaders are high school cheerleaders. Middle school cheerleaders are middle school cheerleaders. So that's why I would assume that middle school cheerleaders is there.
Well, that's, yeah, but then I seen soccer and then I saw sports on there and then it throwed me when I looked on the high school. So we'll
But
probably.
that would be the fundraiser stuff that soccer does, that Charles did, I'm sure.
Okay, all right, okay.
And the cheerleaders have got that money because they raised it.
Yes.
Moving down to the high school activity account. Beginning balance of 54,205, ending with 44,383, which is in line with where they were last year.
Okay, I got one question on that.
Yes.
You got the principal account here and then you got donation to principal account. Just,
Yeah, we had a donation made to the principal's account
okay,
from, I believe it was Faith Community donated that, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a year, so.
okay.
We need to be talking to fake communities.
It may not have been, I can't remember. I'm almost positive it was, but.
Well, maybe it would go into the principal account eventually, I guess, wouldn't it? You see it down
Well, yeah, that
It
would
said-
have been,
Donation to principal account, then it says principal account. I was
Right.
curious. Okay, I was just wondering about,
so that 1,050 plus 2990
that's what is in the,
should
okay.
be something close. No, that's only 500, but. Yeah.
Okay, that's all I know.
And then the athletic account, beginning of 68,917, ended with 53,114.
I have a question on it, too. I just want to make sure there's not typos on this now. So cheerleading, you got $37,000 in there, the balance, is that right? Am I looking at it right?
Yes.
And then football, you got a negative $819.
Not good, it's not good to have negatives, but we have other funds to cover it if needed, but.
In general athletics, you got $143.
Because they're spending more than getting in.
Okay, I'm just verifying these numbers to try to understand the flow of the money.
Look at last
But anyway, it just didn't look exactly right to me, but the cheerleaders are doing very good. I guess we need to all
Well,
do
that's
what they're
their
doing.
sell for the ads, right? Or is that
I
different?
think so, I guess.
So,
Program.
so they'll go down,
Add
they'll use it all up and then they'll sell it, like they'll get those ads again and get them filled
cheer
right back up.
parents.
I mean, they got almost 3/4 of the money in that account.
Well, they collect most of it right now and they'll spend it all.
Yeah, so I thought football had more and general athletics had more.
Well, these are good questions. Is there anything you would like me to look into for next quarter?
Hopefully
Or
those
next
questions
meeting.
will be answered on the 21st.
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand.
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's all right. That wasn't much, was it? I won't say no more.
I do have one question. Would this be updated more on the 21st meeting, or are we gonna still be dealing with these same numbers? Because this is actually ending June 30th, 2022, right?
And I
Yes,
believe
so-
that-
So will it be, when we meet again, is it gonna be these same numbers? Or will we have-
It will be these same numbers because this is only a quarterly report. I can give you what is up to date to August 31st because we do reconcile that monthly, but the quarterly ones, I won't have that until I can get it the October.
I think that's what's skewing these numbers just a tad too, because now we've had intake for football games and that type stuff. So we're looking at it thinking that we're into
Today's
several
numbers,
games,
these are
as
not
today's numbers, these aren't today's
Yes.
numbers.
This is June 22nd
Yeah.
numbers.
So
That's
if we
the
could get,
beginning
if
of
we
the year,
could get
what
that
that
on
is.
the 20th,
June
I can
30th.
give y'all
The beginning
until
of this
August
year,
31st.
basically, the
Thank you.
school year.
I would like that.
I understand that, so I'm trying to make sure that
And you're gonna
is
see different
true.
numbers on the 21st.
But the cheerleaders ad money comes in before June because they
correct.
sell them right on the first of summer.
That's correct.
Well, I just want to verify that every penny is spent out of football and general athletics by the end of the school year. That's what I see right there.
Right, which would be June 30th, yes, sir?
Right, that's what I see.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll get those updated August 31st.
Any more questions? Mr. Farmer? Okay. Next on the agenda, is the approval of the 2022 tax millage rate. Thank you, Ms. Dukes, for that financial update.
Millage rate is before you, and you can tell from going all the way back to 2017, we have not gone up on taxes or the millage rate. The advances that you see there are based on an increase in property value. That's nothing that we can control. Those are the numbers that we get from our tax collector and our tax assessor, and that's an increase based on the value of your home going up. I know that mine personally went up quite a bit, and I was quite shocked. However, we are still recommending the rollback rate. And anytime you want to add to this, you're welcome to, but we are recommending the rollback rate, which will put us at a percentage, total percentage of 14.568. Last year, that percentage was 16.929. So we are recommending the rollback rate of 14.568, and you're welcome to join in or jump in at any point.
We're gonna end with a 13.393. I think this after looking at it, I think that this is the best recommendation to just keep it flat and not increase anything.
But we're still getting more money because of the values.
Right. Which is that number on the bottom right?
130,000.
Right. Because of the increase in property value.
Any other discussion? I need a motion.
Make a motion.
Okay, we have need a second.
Second.
Second by Jim Madison. All in,
All in favor?
oh yeah, all in favor? That's all. No, I thought. Yes, all in favor? 4-0. Thank you.
And that's right, we're doing the bond one too, right?
Is that on?
The bond one is included, correct?
Not on the notice, this is only the M&O on the notice. I'll hopefully pass this around, I only have one copy. But the bond was the one that had a rollback of 0.2, it was at 2.5 last year, and we're recommending a 2.3. So just what the Kenny and Dare suggested, if you want to pass that around. This one right here.
So this is for the bond.
M&O and the bond.
back to that. Mhm.
Are you doing addendum to the motion? Okay. Need to do an addendum to the motion of approval for the, tax, millage rate.
Bond rate.
And the bond rate.
I'll make a motion to accept.
Okay. Motion by Mr. Madison, need a second. Second by Mr. Hyman, all in favor? 4-0. Next on our agenda is the Lchs Alumni Association 2022 homecoming proposal.
Oh, that's me, sorry.
This information was brought to Dr. Walski by Savion Banks, or as we call him, Zay Banks. I think everybody knows who Zay is. He's currently in Hawaii as a soldier, but remains very active with us. And he is recommending that we establish an alumni association to handle a homecoming proposal. And I'm sure everyone has read the homecoming proposal, but basically they want to sell spots or tailgate slots for the event of homecoming, selling those for $50 a slot. And they would be part of overseeing the homecoming event at the old middle school site. Dr. Walski, if you would like to add anything to that, you're welcome to. But the fundraising side, board members would be separate from this piece because we can't approve the fundraising piece unless the homecoming proposal would be approved. So I'll let Dr. Walski jump in here at any point.
Zay just called me a few weeks ago with this, with them being able to run that. They would have some expenses that they would have, and outside of that, they wanted to donate it to primarily the band for the offset of the cost of what they lose because people grill out and everything else. And then cheerleading, football, principals fund. With that being divided up, basically those 4 ways, and basically marking spots off up there for them to purchase however many spots they wanted. So if you wanted to purchase 3 of them, you would pay $150. If you wanted to purchase 4 of them, $200, or one of them $50, and that would kind of be your spot that they would, we would mark off and sell those particular spots. Yeah, more towards the old school, on that side, behind the visitor side over there, where most of that tailgating comes on. It would not come in on the side where, on the home side, and the one spot that we allow for the booster club to set up, that would not be impacted by it. Everything would be on the other side for anyone else that wanted to get those tailgating spots for that.
One of the questions that I have received in regards to this would be liability on the school district, and I talked to our attorney. We would not be liable, but the Alumni Association would have to carry an insurance policy, which is a $1 million insurance policy, as we do for all of our groups that rent from us. And we were assured this afternoon that they would be very willing to carry that insurance policy if this was approved.
They would have extra, so with the charges, they talked about paying for another officer, if possible, to have up in that area specifically for them, for the insurance policy and any other costs they would incur, and then everything else would go out for that.
So is this association already formed, or is this just now formed? How did I present that? Do we have a alumni association already in place?
To my knowledge, no, we do not.
I'm not from here, I don't know.
Because I've never heard,
To my knowledge, we do not. But if they have met, I'm not aware.
I see this particular statement has chairperson, a vice chairperson, and a finance
I see that.
director. I see that the vice chairperson is in the audience.
Okay. Would they like to present?
Shannon?
What's the question? What, vice chair, you got me on this thing, I'm looking like a dead head. Headlights, what you want to say? He said, what question did you ask?
The first question is, does this organization already exist?
Yes. The only thing we're waiting on from the state of Georgia is the 5013C status. Once we have it, it's already pending. We're just waiting on to get the paperwork to say that it actually is our status for that. So people with any donations that are being made can be non-taxable.
Okay, I was unaware that it existed.
You said you was unaware that it existed.
Right. I did not know this organization existed. I did not know that.
So it has nothing to do with the school system.
Correct.
But the donations are gonna be given to the school system.
If they want to.
If they want to. Right.
But you would have no way of knowing any intake, because this organization is not gonna be affiliated with the school, so you have no.
It wouldn't be like the Booster Club.
Yeah, you wouldn't have any way of knowing unless they presented what the intake and all was. Is that correct? So, yeah,
Correct,
with
'cause
us
I didn't even know
having
they
no affiliate-
exist.
yeah.
Correct. We don't have any influence over them, and we don't have any control over them.
I'm not saying this, I've been over there a lot and seen this go on. It's just, I know people come from all different directions, and people get there very early in the morning. And then some get there late in the afternoon. I think monitoring this is gonna be a little hectic. In saying who can and who can't is what I see. This is a good event. It has a lot of people that do come and go, but I don't know that we need this. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I think what we have going is pretty well working.
Okay.
And if we approve this, we are gonna be liable.
According to our attorney, we're not.
Is that how? Make a motion to vote on it. Any other discussion?
I got, so just, I'm really just trying to understand exactly what the end result is here. I mean, if you got another school coming here to play, and they come in here, is there gonna be like an overflow for them to tailgate? That's what this is about, right, Shannon? So if that lot is full, where, do we have a plan, or, it's kinda not,
It's usually the homecoming, every year you have the big homecoming, it hasn't been regulated for so long, so people go up there and tailgate. Nobody, in other place, you're not getting, in other schools, you have to pay to get a spot. You go to in school, Washington, Greene County, paying $25 to tailgate. They get that money, so whereas they've been doing it every year, the county gets nothing out of the deal. People just show up, get a tent, do all of that, because you have people come from everywhere. So basically, you getting $0 out of what's going on, which is now that you get some towards the band, your funds, and all this different stuff.
I'm honoring that now. So whereas we're taking responsibility away from the school, because if you have something over there, something goes up, then now that liability is on the school board. Then now you have someone that you can designate and say, what's going on, who's in charge of this, who's in charge of that. Because whereas in the past, there hasn't been someone regulating it from the school system or designated for that. So now people can just go sit up out there in the dark, and you don't have any way to be able to monitor that other than the resources you use for security. security. But if you got one person out there trying to tell them, hey, we need this, so then that's gonna require people from the administration staff to go over there and assist. Why do that when you can have someone that you've already put in place, which is what the association will act as? Right now, it's just unorganized chaos. Instead of doing that, moving forward, we can have some system in place where this is the way that we can see how this can be organized. And that help relieve some of the pressure and stress off of the administration from the school as well.
Is this just strictly for this homecoming, this year homecoming, or this is something in the
Just
future for homecoming?
For this year, moving forward, we can evaluate what are the cost-effective measures that we can use. Was this something that was feasible? Was this something that we liked? Did you like how it turned out? This is just a case study to see how can we move forward. And I also thought that this would be a great way to be able to increase the amount of participation, due that this is our centennial celebration. So we can also use this as another factor in and say, hey guys, we want to make sure this is out there. As if you are able to charge for the spaces for the homecoming, then you alleviate and it'll be a cost-effective measure from the money that you would be losing from personnel that probably would not go into the game. They're there just to come in and out.
So Dr. Waskey, what's your intake on this? Do you think this is something good?
I think it is. I think Zay's heart's in the right place. I think he wants to give back to the community, even from 3,000 miles away, however many, 2,000, however many miles it is. You know, and when he asked me about this was strictly to give back. It's not for anything else, but to give back to the kids and the programs that are in place here. And, you know, I personally, and I never thought about how much the band loses from people grilling out and doing their own thing over there. And that's a pretty big gain as far as having people there. And there is no monetary, it actually is a monetary drain because we do have to hire more people to help clean up over there. We hired 2 extra security last year to kind of monitor that area, so it actually cost us more money to do those things last year for it. And then, you know, somebody was playing music during the whole game. I mean, I don't know if y'all remember last year at homecoming, but you could hear it in between the plays and everything else. And then this would have some limitations on that, and we would have the security available to go there and say, you got to turn it off during the game. And do some of those things. And those are some things that, you know, Zay and I were able to talk about the few minutes we were able to talk on the phone the other day. And to me, I think it'd be worth a shot seeing how this goes. And it is the Alumni Association, you know. And there's a lot of pride here at Lincoln County with the alumni, the people that graduated here that are part of this community. And I think it would be a good thing and just a way to a little more organized. And if the class of 86 wanted to get them 3 or 4 spots together, the class of 86 knows where the class of 86 is going to be, and 87, 88, 89, however they wanted to do it, I think it would be a lot more organized.
So that's a good point. So does the class of 86 pay $50, or does every individual that wants to grill in the class of 86 pay $50?
No, it's for a particular spot. We would basically say, okay, a 12 by 12 tent would take up, let's say, 2 spots. Well, these 2 spots are where this is going to be located, and right next to that would be spot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever we have to do to get those spots done and gridded out.
And who's going to do that?
According to their presentation, they're going to do the math.
Well, that's why I'm asking the question. So who's going to be responsible for gridding it, marking it, monitoring it? Because they're going to be here. I mean, they're coming. They're coming at 8 o'clock in the morning. I mean, they're going to be putting things up. I mean, who's going to monitor that? I guess. I mean, Zay's got the idea. He's obviously laid it out, but he's not able to monitor. So who is the monitor? Who are the officers?
Zay's
going to be here.
Oh, he is going to be here.
Yeah, he's here.
I'm sorry.
He's gonna be
He's off during those times. He took those off to come back to homecoming.
So last year, it was your responsibility or the school to get them to cut the music down and to,
Me, Mr. Madden, and Ms. Jordan, yes, sir.
So this is gonna take all responsibility off of you?
Well, not all, I mean, we still have a responsibility, it's still,
As far as that field, as far
No,
as what happens on that field, we're not responsible for the music. You go up there and say, cut it down, it's a done deal with them.
we get the police officer to go do it. I'm not gonna go do it.
Well, I mean, but they're gonna have their own officer, not
They
ours.
are, yeah, that's what they talked about, having their own officer, yes, that would be one of those things that they could do, absolutely. Because, I mean, to be honest, during that game, I'm worried about what's going on in those bleachers, behind the bleachers, in the game, on the sidelines, everything else. We don't pay for security in the parking lot that during a normal game. We don't go monitor out of that parking lot during the game.
Any more questions? Well, we need to make a motion. I make a motion that we accept this homecoming proposal that's been presented to us by Zay Banks and Alumni Association based on the fact that they're gonna get them $1 million insurance, that they better have for liability purposes, and everything that's stated in this letter. I need a second.
Can I second it with an amendment?
That's what I was thinking, because it's a lot in this, with latrines and everything. I mean, you see what I'm saying? It's a lot in this document. I mean, if you go through it on what's being promised, and
I think it's a good idea, it's a good concept. I would be in favor of voting for it this year alone, to try it and just see how it goes, and then we go from there. That's what.
Your amendment is just for this year only?
This year only, yes. And then next year, we, if everything goes good, go with it.
I just got a problem with us having anything on our campuses that the administrator is not involved in. But you're gonna have a total separate group on our property,
That's gonna be there
the school
anyway.
bus property. Yeah,
Well, Dr. Wolski is.
but Dr. Walski's in charge of it
he's
now,
on here.
but what he's gonna do is hand it off to this group, and how are we gonna monitor it? How are we gonna,
Well, I don't hand anything off to anybody. Even when we got the auditorium going down there, I still tell them what they can and can't do. And you work in conjunction with that. Even, the dance studio, she comes in and says, can I do this? No, you can't do that, or yes, you can. So I'm not handing it off to anybody. We'd be working in conjunction with them to do it.
is they on there? Is they still on?
I'm still, yeah.
Will any type of financial disclosure be given to Dr. Walski, being he's your contact?
I definitely will. And to speak on what Mr. Madison said, I will say he is not giving us responsibility, but more as appointing us as a liaison. We're not here to simply say we just do what we want here, just like anytime you run a facility or go through a business for something. We would be simply acting as people that would be the point of contact, dealing that I've been doing this for the past 3 years on scales, a larger scale with over hundreds of thousands of people and service members. We've done this, and I have a very point-blank, dry scale of how we would do this and how this can be operated. Doing that is my job, as I'm currently ammo festival and events for the United States Army Pacific.
So we've been given a motion with the amendment of just approving it for this year's a,
22-23 school year.
the 22-23 school year.
I do have another discussion here. I'm looking at the end of this first, that one right there. It says something about homecoming events, and parades, and is that all gonna take place as well? Is that last paragraph?
That's something that they're saying that they're gonna have. That's
Okay.
not our responsibility.
Okay, well, yeah, okay, I'm just trying,
Would not be
What I'm reading is that's not our responsibility.
We would
They're
not be
just saying-
responsible for the parade at all.
okay, I'm just trying to grasp this, it's new to me.
So did Chris say?
I did with that, just
With
with
him.
Second with the addendum, the fact that it's just gonna be for 22-23 school year. We need to vote. All in favor? All opposed? 3-1.
That takes us to the fundraiser. That goes along with that. Since it was approved, now we would put the fundraiser before the board to approve how the funds are distributed for the spots that are sold.
And the financial goal is to $1,200.
See, the only thing I have to this one, and what he discussed and what was discussed, and just the way this is written, we were talking about the land that was the old middle school land.
Yes,
Is
sir.
what we were talking.
Yes, sir.
In this proposal that is written here, it also says upper parking area, which is gonna cause some problem for the visiting parking lot possibly. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. It says in the upper
I'm just
parking
wondering-
area and where.
And where,
I
yes,
see
sir.
what you're saying, yes,
So
sir.
what we just approved was $50 spots for the field
The
area,
old middle
correct?
school area.
Field area primarily, the only thing that concerned me with that was if we get terrible rain. And when you say the upper parking area, I'm thinking more if you go from where you go out the visitor side gate back towards the tennis courts, that concreted area there. You know, you understand what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah,
Like the entrance to the school,
yeah.
keeping that front part of the parking lot open for Greene County, which I
Right.
know they don't travel extremely well, but, or haven't traditionally in the past.
So basically from the old gymnasium back to
Yes, sir.
the
Tennis court.
the main
Back to
gate.
those tennis courts, we have to have some sort of concreted area. Even last year, that was concerned, we had everybody up in that middle school grassy area. If we would've had us a downpour, or even before then, that would've been mush, and you start talking about cars and pulling things around on that area and everything else, that you don't wanna tear, I mean,
Mud
We'll tear that
wrestling,
up.
mud wrestling.
yeah.
But that's
We're not gonna
only gonna
approve
be
a
used
fundraiser for
in
mud
the instance
wrestling.
of inclement weather.
That's the plan, yes, sir. Now, if we start selling a ton of spots,
That's a
we
lot
have to
of land.
move, that would be, it is a lot, but.
You got a lot of area out there.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You also have that blacktopped area in between the old school and
Correct.
the
Shop.
CTAE
And the
building.
bus shop.
Yeah, CTAE building.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So how big is the spot gonna be, out of curiosity? 12 by 12, you said?
We hadn't talked about that. I gotta get up there and measure how much it would be. I don't know what size tent is a regular tent or any of that.
10 by 10.
10 by 10 is pretty normal for those tents that you get at Academy or something like that.
But you gotta have room
You got to
between them two.
move.
Agreed.
I'm just curious.
Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion, we approve it. We approve the others for this event.
Second. All right, second by Mr. Heitman. All in favor? All opposed? Oh, he's in favor, Jim?
Well, I'm in favor since we approved the other.
Okay, 4-0. Thank you. All right, next on the agenda is the CSRA RESA membership dues.
This is an annual cost to be part of RESA, and you remember us talking about this for past years. We have a general membership to be part of RESA, which is $4,245 this year. And then on top of that, we have the technical services. They assist us with things like repairing printers. They repair a few other technical things that they do help us with. That cost this year is $1,453. It has gone down quite a bit since back in 2019 and 2020. That's actually more than half of what it was in 2020. So the total bill this year would be $6,802.
Is that the breakdown on the second page? It's a little more what you said.
Yes, sir. I'm looking at how it was broken down when Taylor and I did it, but that is the breakdown, the basic membership and then the total services cost. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve the membership.
Second. All in favor?
Thank you.
4-0.
They do a lot for us, and we're very happy with their professional development stuff, too. Playground equipment. We have been talking about playground equipment at the elementary school for a while. I asked Miss Goldman to put together a proposal for playground equipment to see what was possible. And if you've ever looked at the cost of playground equipment, it can be outrageously expensive. These are actually very reasonable prices and reasonable pieces. Yes,
Yes.
and it's very easy to find them for $40,000 to $70,000. I looked.
It lasts a long time.
They're supposed to.
They
Yes,
last as
sir.
long as they last, we'll be in good shape.
Oh, yeah.
Well, none of us will care if they last as long as the ones that are over there. They'll be gone. But this is a total 3 pieces, one for each playground. One for each playground
each
area,
playground.
is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. I thought that's what your proposal was. So I recommend that we buy all 3 pieces and we take this money, or take this cost out of our capital projects money, which would not exhaust that fund, but it would definitely bring it down from what it is today. But that would help the elementary school immensely. We're talking about, I had it written down in there,
55,700.
thank you, 5570?
55,700.
There we go, 55,700.
Which is less than 60,000.
Right,
Yes,
these
sir.
are just samples, just so you can see the range. These are not the exact pieces. I just put, it just says sample. It says picture of sample piece.
Let me see if it's in there.
Picture of
It says
sample
that.
piece,
It's sample.
estimated price of sample piece.
These obviously.
Just to give you an idea of the grand cost of things, you know, from my fundraisers, $16,000 is not gonna buy very much playground equipment. And as Dr. Lake said, the pieces that are currently there were probably there when you were there, your children were there, perhaps even your parents. We've got some vintage pieces that are still very usable and maintained, but we could use an update. The most current piece that we have on the playground is on the back playground. It's a tan and green piece that Angie Spratlin let me know she helped fundraise for with PTO in the 90s. So that was the last large piece. The piece that was next to the trailer in the small enclosed fence actually belonged to Head Start, so you can now see it on the old campus now. And that was where our self-contained special ed students played, in that small contained area. So we're really needing something for them, but also an upgrade to each the side and the back playground as well. So that's why we put 3 estimated sample pieces on there. This is just an estimated price because we have to do some prep work to the area as well. You know, some grading, some securing of the area, delivery. But as you can see, it's not very cheap. But it would be used by all 611 students at our school, at least daily. Recess time is mandatory in elementary school, so this would help there. I'm just asking for 60 to 75,000. We would have to get a company to come out and survey the area and provide us a plan about where the best pieces would be. We do have some drainage issues on the side playground by Meadisville where the old swing set used to be. So this is just an estimate. Just would like your approval to move forward. And before we do anything official, I would love to bring it back to you to say that this is where we would put such piece and this is the actual cost. But before we start talking to representatives and getting companies involved, I wanted your approval.
I understood this as the whole cost was gonna be 60 to 75 with preparation, and
Yes.
you were actually asking for those 3 items, which is why I presented it that way.
No, sir.
All
This
right.
is just a sample.
So you're asking for our blessing, this is nothing we need to
Yes.
vote on, just can we
Yes.
move forward with finding out?
Yes.
Okay.
That's not the way I understood it, I
I
apologize.
apologize.
Well, I know someone who can look at the survey and placement of it, really economical. Just let me know after the meeting, I'll give you his name and number.
He's volunteering you again.
I like it. I get him
He's
back.
good at drainage, so that'll save us some money right there. Is that your most priority item at the school over there? This?
It's a large priority,
I mean,
since
it's,
it's been neglected for a long time.
you've been getting a lot of attention these
I
last
have
years.
been. That's what happens when you have the majority
Yeah.
of the students at your campus.
Oh, them two behind you back
I
there.
know.
They not feeling any love out there right now.
So, I mean, and then it would depend the company who we get. Our maintenance department wouldn't put this up, obviously,
No,
who
sir.
we get it for,
No,
they would
this would
install
be-
it, so it would be.
right,
Okay. So that's gonna determine the whole
Cost, so
So
we
we
would
just
have
need
to
a whole
bring this
cost
back.
to truly look like this.
Right, I just wanted your blessing that this was something that you would be willing to spend the capital funds on before we spend other people's time to come outside.
So we have 110,000 in capital funds available, is that right?
105,
105?
388.
Okay.
105 minus if
I was
the.
gonna say, you also have the other concession
Yeah.
stand in there. to
And currently the
figure.
concession stand is about like 15 to 20,000, so
Right.
add another 20,000 underneath that, and that's our remaining balance.
So we already got our 50,000 allotment in there for this year? Have you put it in there yet? You have? You don't know?
No, it's not.
It's not in
No, it
there.
should be, we should be getting the $50,000.
I don't have it, I've not journal entered over it
Okay,
yet.
okay, so,
So this is our big balance from last year
so
over.
we'll have basically zero if she gets this equipment, and then we'll have 50,000 when you put it in there.
Correct.
I'm just trying to understand. I definitely feel like we need some playground equipment. I've
Agreed.
seen it.
Yes, we do.
Agreed.
Okay, so we don't have to vote on this?
No, ma'am. I apologize, I didn't understand it that way.
All right, next on the agenda is the 120-gallon commercial grade hot water heater.
We received 3 quotes for a commercial grade 120-gallon hot water heater that is 480 volt 3-phase electrical, which is a commercial item and rather expensive. If you're used to a standard residential hot water heater, this is way out of the ballpark. But this is what's needed to replace at the Family and Consumer Science Lab. We had 3 quotes. 2 of those were for out of town. 1 of them is local. They are very, very close in bid, so I am recommending that we go with a local company, McCutcheon, to install the new hot water heater for the Family Consumer Science Lab for $14,540.
And as Kyle always says, it's apple to apples in comparison. So the information about the hot water heaters.
I wonder who spec'd that water heater 3-phase like that. Oh,
Dad do something?
I believe that's how it was originally put in there,
no, okay.
and there, it's a remove and replace.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know who spec'd it out. He's
That-
sitting back there.
Oh, is he sitting back there?
Mhm.
Okay.
He couldn't do
So
a
so
single
now you know
phase.
who to talk to about it.
That's why it cost us so much.
Oh, all right.
I'm making a motion to approve your recommendation.
I'll say.
All in favor? 4-0. Hutchins. Policy for review is JCDAB/JCDAC, drug/alcohol use.
We have just this one policy review, and it is fine the way it is written, so we would put it forward in the board packet as a current and renewed policy.
And we're down to superintendent's report.
I've got 3 or 4 things in the superintendent's report to share. The first one that I want to share is our Teacher of the Year for this year. At the elementary school, we have Wint Cook as the Teacher of the Year. At the middle school, we have Janice Madison. And at the high school, we have Miss Shelby Turner. Now, we will do District Teacher of the Year on October 7th at the middle school, high school cafeteria. And I believe that starts at noon. And we will have that event, and it is sponsored by Bryce over at Crawford, Brazil. And we greatly appreciate them being involved and helping us out again this year with our Teacher of the Year event. So when we come back in October, we will have the Teacher of the Year for the district president, and we will ask these 3 exceptional teachers to come join us that night as well. But I want to let everybody know who the teacher of the year was. I think everybody's aware, but our own head coach, Coach Humkus, was awarded the Coach of the Week, which is something that is celebrated through AJC, and it is honored through the NFL and the Atlanta Falcons. But he received Coach of the Week for week 2. He gets a $1,000 stipend, I guess it is, for his program to use as he sees fit. And he's already told me that the weight room weights need to be updated, and that's what he plans to do with that. So I just wanted to celebrate some great things going on and keep you guys up to date.
What day did you say you're having those?
It's October 7th, but I'll send it out to it's on a Friday.
Okay.
And I'll send it out to everybody to invite you to join us for lunch in that celebration.
Okay.
It's obviously not a requirement, but it's great when y'all can be there, so.
Okay. Thank you.
Can I say one more thing? Just to tell you, that is a city street going between the old high school and the
It is. That's correct.
gymnasium, so we can't block it with tents or cars.
That's correct.
Just for info.
I'll do that. Can I ask Mr. Fred something?
Sure.
Just sit right there.
Oh, he's hiding.
Sit in.
Sit up, Mr. Fred.
So, all the buses, I like your report, thank you, first off. Everything that's not a spare is en route daily, is that the way this kind of reads? I'm just looking
You
at
got
3
3 in
to have.
there that's out of service,
Okay.
and
So
the rest of them are spares.
that 005 is out of service, right?
Right.
It's OOS.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so
The-
three of them, yeah.
1201 and 1202 are the ones that don't have air at this time,
Right,
but they're in.
and they're 074.
That is correct, okay.
Is there any plans to get them in service, those 3? Were they
Put a
major?
bunch of money in them.
Okay, so there's no plan to fix them? Okay.
We're supposed to hear back from Bluebird on whether they're going to help us with those, like we had talked about with the board a couple of times.
Okay.
Originally, we were supposed to hear before Labor Day. Now they've pushed it back 2 or 3 more weeks. But when we hear that, we'll be more than happy to share it with you.
So we ain't got a piece of paper then?
Not,
Yeah.
An email or?
we've submitted what we want to do. We haven't got anything back from them yet to say this is concrete. And I don't want to tell you a fib, so I'll wait till they tell us they'll take X.
And you're talking about what we'd be turning in and getting paid for.
That's correct.
And how many
Right.
buses will we get if we did that?
We don't know that yet. We don't know whether they're gonna wanna take 6, whether they're gonna wanna take 9, 3, we don't know that. And that's part of what I don't wanna fib to you about. So until we get that solid letter from them that says, according to this program, we'll take 3, we'll pay you 30,000 each, and this is what you'll get by X date. Until I get that, I don't wanna fib to the board, so.
And
I
that
don't know
determines how many buses we'll get.
how many we'll buy to be able to make up the difference, so we have some spare buses.
We got money that the state's giving, just transportation department this year, $565,000. Now, we can either use it now, or you can wait 3 years.
But
And I'm telling you, they allotted us 6 brand new buses. The bus that you approved last year was $102,000. This year it's gonna cost you $130,000. Next year, you tell me what it's gonna be, $140,000, $45,000. So what I'm saying is, if we get 2 this year, next year get 2, we won't be able to get anything 30, because you're gonna be ate that money up. Now, if they give us the 9 buses, take out 9 buses, that's $30,000 apiece. That's $270,000.
So is there a deadline on this 576 or the order date?
It's by 2025, we need to have the bus here.
It's gotta be here.
Yeah, 2025.
And the 2 that we have out on POs now are,
Out on POs,
is that the 2 we've already gotten?
we haven't
They ain't
got,
come in yet.
We ain't
not
really ordered anything.
Wait a minute now.
We just received two, which was the 2022s that are up here at the top.
Okay.
And we're still trying to figure out how much we're going to get so that we know how much to recommend to the board to order new buses. Do we order 6? Do we order 3? A lot will depend on how much money we're gonna get back from them to add to this money that we have that's sitting there for 3 years. I think it's gonna be smarter to buy them early because A, as you identified, you're gonna get more for your money. Second of all, how much can we add to it? Can we get 6 buses? Can we only afford 5? I don't know that. A lot will depend on how much we're gonna get for the ones we have that we're turning in. So until we have all the information, I don't wanna present it to the board and end up fibbing to the board because I didn't have the information.
This is the Bluebird information, the 30 grand a bus.
Right.
So we,
And you're looking for it to come in any day now?
I'm
Let you
thinking
know.
it's gonna be 2 more weeks, but they originally told us just before Labor Day. So they have pushed it back a couple of times.
well, I really appreciate Mr. Fred's thing here. Every month, if he comes here, if he wants to, that'd be awesome. That way we got air conditioning.
Well, what I'm saying, if we approve to get 6, you do away with all the diesels, everybody would have that air conditioning. Well, right now, what I'm saying is propane at $2.20 compared to diesel. Another thing, you can cut the bus shop $35,000 because you're not using, it costs $80 to service a propane bus, $350 to do a diesel bus. And the diesel's the one that's costing us the money.
Y'all need to reach up high in the ranks at Bluebird and talk to somebody.
So as soon as we get that information, we'll be talking to you.
But that's what I'm trying to explain to you, Chris. The state this year got more money than they've ever got, $154 million for transportation. Got 159 counties in the state of Georgia. Lincoln County's getting $565,000 today.
Everybody's gonna be ordering buses. The longer we wait, the longer it's gonna take.
Is that right?
Is that what you said?
Well, if we order 6 today, we'll get them by March,
So how much are they today?
131 apiece.
So 131 times 5 is what? That's 5.
650, ain't it?
650.
Yeah, right. All right, wait a minute now.
So that's only $75,000 we gotta come up with.
No,
Well,
you're not looking at the picture.
I know, I need it. I need it.
This ain't gonna cost you anything.
You're gonna get 200,000.
You're gonna get 12,000 per bus back because you got propane.
You ain't told us that yet.
That's $72,000.
Okay, that's the money right there.
Well, that's
That's
what I'm
6
trying to
buses.
explain to you.
Dot line.
I'm trying to get it all
Yes,
together
yeah.
for you so I
So
can
we
present it
present
in
it,
one piece
yeah.
instead of doing a piecemeal and everybody getting confused.
Yes.
That's why I didn't bring it up.
Well, the more we know about these buses, the
That's why
quicker
I'm
we.
trying to get it all together so I can show it to you in one package.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Dot Light and Fred. Thank you. We'll see you next month.
Need a
Fred.
motion. Don't stop this. Need a motion to go into executive session, please.
I'll make one.
I say,
All right.
goodbye.
We're back in session. Right here. Okay, all right. It's been recommended that we make a, and I make a motion that we hire Shannon Moon for the food service position at the elementary school. Second by Jim, all in favor? 4-0. And, it's been recommended, and I make the motion that we accept April Park's, resignation effectively. Second by Jim, all in favor? Make the motion that we adjourn this,
Second.
oh,
Dr. Light, my non-resident enrollment that we talked about.
Don't have that one on here. We'll be fine. I'll talk to you about it in the morning.
We're adjourned.
Who was the second one?
I second.
All right.
second.
Okay.
Meeting adjourned.